Seirei. Don't really care if I'm pronouncing that right. There's so much shovelware by Russian developers on the Steam storefront, it seemed only fair to cover a Japanese game. All characters are over the age of 18. That feels like a bad sign. Like, abandon all hope ye who enter here, bad sign. The game opens with a cutscene showing some gray-shadowed women walking through an abandoned carnival or something when one steps on a crucifix and gets burned. Then a black van drives up with Ghost Swiper written on it. So I guess these girls are possessed and we have to exorcise the ghosts controlling them. You spawn in an abandoned amusement park floating in space. God damn it, developers, this is not how skyboxes work! The game uses soft lighting, so it looks like the lens is smeared in Vaseline all the time. And, yep, we have no weapons, just our fists. Alright, no problem. Let's go punch us out some ghosts. Okay, first off, what? And second, the fuck? Okay, so, you control a guy who has to exorcise ghosts from possessed young women to set them free, and for reasons that are not clear to me, you do this by tying them up, throwing them onto the ground, and gagging them while a circular symbol appears on the ground, and then you hurriedly untie them, at which point they thank you, hearts appear, and they teleport out of the arena. And there is absolutely no backstory adding context to the situation or explaining what's going on, and there's no explanation for why ghost busting works this way in this universe. No story whatsoever, you just run around tying up and gagging young women alone in a dark abandoned amusement park with nobody around. What in the actual hell? Why am I a disembodied pair of arms just floating out in space? Was that done to increase immersion or for the audience to project onto, or was it just to save on animation? Because I guess I'm not really gagging the girls, I'm placing my hand over the empty space that's in front of their face. Well, at least this first level you only have to take down 4 girls. And then you're alone in a room with another tied-up girl. You have the option of blindfolding and or ball gagging her, by the way, and you have to hold a cross on targeted parts of her body, which causes her to make erotic moans. And half the time the game makes you focus the cursor on her hip, which makes you hold the cross over her crotch and she reacts like it's a vibrator. This is wrong. This is FBI breaking down my door levels of wrong. I'm going to go to jail for playing this game. Oh wait, the menu does say all the girls are over 18. Yet just because you say that doesn't make it true. These pre-made assets do not look over 18. Look, I'm going to review the game like it's a video game, but this is barely a video game. This is softcore porn with just enough gameplay added into it to get put onto Steam, and it's not even good porn. There's nothing wrong with being turned on by bondage as long as it doesn't manifest as you actually kidnapping someone or committing sexual assault. If you want to see bondage porn, just go to Pornhub. It's free, it's way hotter, the subjects aren't underage, and you don't have to torture yourself by playing a god-awful video game to get it. Every level reuses the same one map and the same one enemy type with a few skins that still look identical to one another. This one tiny, empty carnival with neon bars floating out in space is the only level in the entire game. Each stage they just require you to defeat more ghosts, and more enemies are active at once. You have no weapons. Punching enemies and then waiting about 10 seconds is your only means of attack. The gameplay is painfully slow since it takes forever to down one enemy, and your movement speed starts out abysmal. You slowly trudge around an empty map, clicking on enemies that barely fight back, and that's the game. Seriously, most of the time the AI is brain dead and it barely attacks you. Exhibit A for the game having your typical AI for asset flipped garbage. This ghost walking dead straight into a wall. Brilliant! Dear Lord, is this tedious. It's even worse when you have to wander aimlessly around the map looking for enemies because one of the 2 or 3 active ghosts is hiding behind or stuck inside the Ferris wheel or something. Around level 4, the game graduates from being boring to being frustrating. The enemies start traveling in groups of 2, and even as tardo as the AI can be, it's pretty likely that a ghost will notice if you start hog-tying and gagging their friend right next to them. You have basically no means of fighting more than one enemy at once. You go to tie up one girl and the other attacks and interrupts you, and you start out with like no health. Take about 5 nigh unavoidable hits because you have to plant yourself in place for an entire smoke break, and you die. 5 hits sounds like a lot, but it only takes a few seconds to soak them up and die. The major problem is that the game's hit detection sucks all kinds of shit. If an enemy starts attacking you and running into you, it turns into a slap fight where the enemy just seems to warp around me and I flail around mashing the attack button trying to land a damn hit. Part of the problem is your punch has no manner of range to it while a ghost can hit you from farther away, but I think the problem is that the game's collision physics are borked. Ghosts get stuck inside obstacles, you can walk through a good chunk of objects in the environment, and if an enemy is attacking you, they can clip inside your body to where your hits don't land. I thought it might have something to do with the fact you have no solid body, but later I discovered that ghosts are perfectly capable of fusing into one another, so that explanation is out. And on a not completely unrelated note, what the hell is this? You get 2 side weapons, a blindfold and a chloroform bomb that both incapacitate enemies, and which are permanently bound to the F and X keys. Cluster the keys as awkwardly close together as possible. But neither gadget works unless you're already in punching range of your target, and neither stuns an enemy near half long enough to finish taking out another ghost. You nail a ghost with a blindfold and chloroform and start tying up her friend, and she still breaks loose and cock-blocks you before you can finish, and then you scramble to hit her to drive her back, and then you die. You do get one ranged attack, some kind of lasso to bring enemies closer to you, except when you try to use the lasso, it instantaneously teleports your target to some vague, undefined position off to your side, and it doesn't deal any damage. Use it on an enemy and it just results in them warping beside you and attacking you from off-screen. This attack is worthless. So the combat is broken. If you want to get any further into this garbage, you have to level grind. You have 4 stats: movement speed, health, tying people up speed, and I guess they were desperate for padding, untying speed is a separate stat. You get 1 point per defeated enemy and bonus points for not getting hit, and the bonuses are so huge that you get far more XPs for playing the early stages than you do for playing the harder ones. Oh, and you get bonus XP for playing the molest a tied up girl in private bonus game. You get 1 point for beating it, which is diddly dick in this game. And the target area in this minigame moves as soon as you focus on it, and the girl just strobes across the screen like she's trying to kill you with seizures. So I grind the early levels, I max out my tying speed and pour a few upgrades into health so I don't drop dead after a few seconds. Now I can take on small groups by popping a chloroform bomb, partially tying up a ghost just enough so she can't cause trouble, and then tending her friend until both ghosts have been taken down. Fun fact, your stats can't go above level 9, but you can keep pumping upgrade points into a skill that's at level 9. Your level just won't increase once the bar is full. I'm sure that has nothing to do with the fact that the indicator only has 1 digit. So while I was grinding XPs, I realized there's an option in the menu to shut off that horrendous looking soft lighting that makes the game look so blurry. And for some reason, the game's subtitles glitch and don't display until you've turned the soft lighting off at least once. And once you rectify this glitch, you get some interesting quotes from girls that you haven't finished untying yet. I have already said several times that I am ashamed. No, no, I've told you many times. Bustin' isn't making me feel good. Each level just drags itself out longer and longer, and I have no idea how many stages there are. Level 6 is still manageable, and also the point where there are enough enemies spawned at once that you notice them forming conga lines because asset flip AI. I've been playing the same one level for hours now. I am so far past done with this shit. How many levels are in this thing? Maybe there are 7 levels. That makes sense. Each level is a day, so it'd be 1 week. Level 7, you have to take down 30 enemies, and there are 12 ghosts active at any given time. That doesn't sound bad, but no matter what I do, I almost always have 3 ghosts attacking me at once. 2 I can handle, but the chloroform bomb takes so long to recharge, I can't handle 3 without getting killed. Not on a consistent basis. I spent some time trying to figure out the enemy AI's behavior because I have no idea how to fight this many triggered enemies at once, and I've concluded that the AI is completely random. I can't find any consistent trigger that causes ghosts to get get alerted and attack you. Sometimes enemies won't react to me standing inches in front of them, sometimes enemies will whirl a full 180 to attack when I creep up on them, and I've seen ghosts run over and attack me from literally the complete opposite end of the map. The game will just arbitrarily decide that given ghosts are mad at you, it's completely random chance, and by the time you get to stage 7, the sheer volume of enemies means that 3 ghosts will be on a rampage at all times. The chloroform will knock an enemy out of apeshit instant kill mode, but again, it's total blind luck whether that enemy will stay docile when the chloroform wears off, or if they'll just go right back into attacking you again. But eventually, I catch enough lucky breaks to clear the level. Now please tell me that's the end, please tell me that's the end, please tell me— oh, fuck me! No, don't do that. I wouldn't do well in prison. So, level 8, you need to kill 40 ghosts and 15 enemies are active at all times. There's no lucking out with the AI's behavior. You will always have at least 3 ghosts on you, and even with your stats maxed out, the combat is too broken to survive that many enemies at once. I swear, new enemies will even warp in from off-screen and attack you when you're busy. I figured out a little bit of a trick where if you attack a ghost near a wall, it'll confuse the AI and buy you time to finish off an enemy, but trying to rely on this trick ultimately got me pinned against the wall and killed by about a dozen ghosts at once. Cheese and rice. I only beat this level by running around the arena until I found 1 or 2 ghosts off by themselves to attack and just book it and run anytime that more than 2 ghosts were chasing me. It's a long, boring, annoying, and tedious process, but eventually I finished it. Now please tell me that's the end. 50 exorcisms, 20 enemies active? Does this damn game just go on forever until it becomes unwinnable like an arcade game? Level 9 is damn near impossible. You will always have 4 to 5 ghosts alerted to your presence and attacking you. Even lucking out with the chloroform bombs and managing to subdue groups of 3, I'll finish barely managing to fend off a group of 3 assailants, only to get charged by another group that pissed off at me while I was busy. Your only hope of beating this stage is to upgrade your running speed, max out your other stats, and run in circles hoping you stumble across a straggler that you can finish before any of the perpetually alerted enemies can catch up to you, and even then it's a crapshoot whether you can actually take any enemies down. Check this out. I managed to exorcise a girl and then start desperately fending off the never-ending enemies, and I can't even finish untying this girl because her dumbass AI keeps running into me and clipping inside my body where I can't get her. Damn it, I need my space, woman! My first attempt at this level ended when 3 shitting ghosts pinned me against a wall and all clipped inside my body to where I couldn't move or land a hit on any of them. I eventually beat this level by lucking out and having all the ghosts kind of spawn in the same one spot and grouping together in one huge pack, which made it relatively easy to pick off stragglers. Plus, anytime a member of the pack started charging at me, I could lure the girl away from all of her friends and attack her once we were alone. Check it, final enemy of the level is stuck in a wall. But there is no running from me! If that wasn't the last level, I swear I'm quitting anyway. Oh, well, it's kind of the end. There is another level selectable past level 9, but highlighting it glitches up the menu and it seems like it just launches level 9 again. So the game has no ending. Gee, both the levels on your stats and the level selection cap off at 9 and glitch if you try and go into double digits. I can't help but think that neither one was on purpose. Seirei is complete garbage. It's a blatant asset flip with one small map and one enemy cloned endlessly. The game is crazy unbalanced and there's barely a combat system to speak of. You run around punching ghosts, you hope that you don't get interrupted for the several seconds it takes to finish punching a ghost, and you have 2 stun moves that barely work, and that's it. Plus the game has an abundance of clipping issues that make the hit detection and basic combat turn to shit. But this wasn't designed as a game, it was designed as softcore porn. But in this day and age, there's vastly, infinitely better porn without the borderline pedophilic undertones. There are better ways to find it, and it's not wrapped up in a video game that's boring at best and broken at worst. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm expecting company.